Yes, so today is a woman that you may know, you may not know, Abishag. She's desperate to win. Abishag, she's desperate to win. So I'm just going to get right into the conversation according to the writer, Robert Strand, and then we will draw other lessons from it. I hope you had a great Sunday. I hope you are doing fine, whatever part of the world you're joining from. By the way, my name is TOSIN Babalola. I am your host at When Singles Pray. So very little is known about this charming and gorgeous lady. Her name means my father wonders, or perhaps my father causes wonders, like Wanders. Okay, interesting name for a girl. She was a Shunammite from the area of Issachar. Her claim to fame was nothing more than she was beautiful and would make a good practical nurse for an aging king. So now I guess you're beginning to guess the story. Apparently, this strategy didn't work too well because King David died soon after this cute nurse had taken her rightful duties. So this story can be found in scriptures, and it's from 1 Kings chapter 1, verse 1 to 4. If I recall, it's the story of how David was about to die, and they were looking for how to keep the king alive. And also chapter 2 from verse 15, from verse 13 to 25, which now turns out to be another very dramatic and interesting part. So let's get into the conversation. She's giving us her own side of the story, and I want you to come along. So she's saying, yes, go ahead and say it. I became the world's first human hot water bottle. Well, maybe not the first, but perhaps the most famous human hot water bottle. Hold on, I'm getting a bit ahead of myself. I was born in a normal family who happened to live in an area called Shunem. So I'm sure you are familiar with that name, the Shunammite woman that God used to minister to Elijah at the time when there was famine, who also lost her son. Okay? So anyways, I was raised like any good Jewish girl. I learned how to do all the expected things. How to be a good wife, daughter, cook, seamstress, and much more. It was a humble beginning, but all that changed with the beauty contest. Wow. So hardly do you know, or hardly do you and I know that it wasn't only Esther who went through a beauty contest. Abishag also went through a beauty contest. It was a sad time for all of us because we knew our wonderful king was dying. He was old, so old, he couldn't keep warm, even in our warm climate. So old, they couldn't find enough covers to keep him warm. So they announced this beauty contest for all the young and beautiful virgins of Israel. Sure, the thought crossed my mind that I'd like to be selected as Miss Israel, but so did every other girl in our country. I mean, I'm like, this is king that is old already. They are looking for how to keep him warm. And every girl is still interested in joining him. Just look at how much we as humans can do, or how far we as humans can go in order to be famous, in order to be known, right? So she's saying here, the dates were announced, the judges chosen, and the venue was set. We practiced our posture, fixed our hair, and made up and our clothes. Okay, so everything kept going on and on. Their mothers prepared them. Everybody in the city knew that, oh, a contest was going to happen. Then I must admit, I was nervous when the grand prize was announced, to become a hot water bottle to a king. Women, so desperate to win. I mean, like, the king is about to die, and every girl is still very fantasized, right? Every girl is still looking forward to that prestige, that noble role and posture, the royal and position, noble position, and the royalty, the royal fame. The girls still wanted it. Please, let me ask you, would you do anything to become a hot water bottle for a king who is about to die? Okay, let's continue reading. So she's saying there was nothing sexual about this. So to make it legal, the winner would also be married to the king in a quiet ceremony. It was the most fabulous prize ever offered in the Miss Israel's contests. The judges had put us through our paces, and then they gathered around the table. Lots of noise, some shouting, a bit of finger pointing, more writing and tabulation. It seemed on to take forever. Finally, they were ready to announce the winner. Biko, who is going to win this contest? Hey, the judge took the time clearing his throat, shuffling his papers, putting on his reading glasses, like me, and then taking them off and cleaning them. Wow, that level of suspense to announce human hot water bottle. Okay, the crowd was poised on the front of each chair. Oh, this was too much. He cleared his throat and looked around and began. It is with great pleasure of mine to introduce to you Miss Israel of 961 BC. I present to you the lovely, beautiful, and talented Miss Abishag. Miss Israel of 961. Awesome. There was thunderous applause. I was floored. I couldn't believe it. Everybody was jumping and shouting and crying and celebrating all at the same time. Things happened very quickly. I said goodbye to my parents and gathered a few things. They told me I would have a brand new wardrobe. I ate all designer things. And put me in a fast chariot, and I was on my way to Jerusalem. I guess this was what it was all about. The fancy stuff, the luxury lifestyle, the designer outfits, a new wardrobe, fast chariot, everything, leaving our home, going to Israel, being separated from the normal life that she has been used to. Okay, let's just go ahead. On the way to the palace, there were people lining the sidewalks to get a look at the reigning Miss Israel. It was fresh bath, new clothes, new hairdo, perfume, quick run through the protocol with the king, what I could and could not do as his nurse, human hot water bottle. I looked at myself in the mirror and had to admit that it was quite a transformation from being little Miss Nothing to becoming Miss Israel and the next wife of the king. When we entered the chamber, he raised himself on one elbow, and for a moment or two, there was a flash of the old king. He was excited, alive, approving of what he saw. At least I'd like to think so. There was a quick ceremony just to make things legal by the prophet Nathan, and then I was led to the bed to lay and warm up the king. I really didn't know what to do, but there was an older nurse nearby who was coaching me on how to do my job. It seemed to work for a while. It was fun, but what a different lifestyle it is to live in a palace and be the wife of the king. I was only a queen and the last and youngest of his therein. Oh yes, some of his old wives were a bit upset at me and the newcomer warming him up. Time quickly passed. After a while, I couldn't even warm him up enough, and he died. Just imagine that. After all the struggle to win, after all the, how would I put it now? The announcements and the change in status, right? After all the fame, and then suddenly the king eventually died. She said, I couldn't warm him up enough. Do you ever find yourself in such situation? Like you were desperate for something and eventually you got it. And on getting it, all of a sudden it just vamoosed. Like it just disappeared, it just evaporated into the thing here, air. So let's see what she did. She said the king died. Oh yes, his last act before he died was to install his son Solomon as the new king. Solomon sure didn't have a human water bottle to keep him warm. No, Solomon didn't need that. After the hub had died down, another of King David's son wanted to marry me. That's Adonijah. Adonijah wanted to marry Abishag. His name was Adonijah, and he used the new king's mother to request my hand in marriage. So that's the part of First Kings chapter 2, 13 to 25, which I promised you was dramatic. So she said, I didn't understand all that happened behind the scene, but Adonijah was killed over me because Solomon saw through him. It was something called treason. It was considered a crime that Adonijah would want to marry his father's secondary wife. It might have been okay for me, but I didn't want to be another pawn in the palace intrigue. So what happened? There's no much more I can say of my life. I never married, but I sure inherited a whole lot of land and money and made life easier for my mom and dad. I remained a virgin for the rest of my life and had an easy lifestyle to my dying day. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. So that brings us to the end of the story of Abishag. But what can we learn? The writer says, here's the wisdom from Abishag for the 21st century living. He says, be ready to change. Be ready for change that may come your way unexpectedly. You can wake up and on any ordinary kind of day, and in a moment, everything can and might change. It happens all the time. Therefore, you need something that is constant, something you can count on, something to be with you through thick and thin and all the twists and turns of life. What is it? A personal relationship with the King of all kings, the Lord of all lords, Jesus Christ, who is the same yesterday, today, and forevermore. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. I am super excited about this story, and I am sure you are too. Abishag really wanted to win, and all of a sudden, everything changed. Let's be ready for change. Like, I am looking for, well, maybe because I'm naturally adventurous, or maybe I used to be, but there's just a little bit of adventure whirlwind around me, and I can say that, oh yes, change is, I can't be surprised at change, as it were, right? Sudden as it may seem, okay? But I've noticed that not too many people can easily adjust, adapt, and amend, when they experience change, because sometimes it could really be difficult, especially when it is so sudden. So imagine an announcement just goes out and they say, now you need to dress up, you need to change this, you need to change that, you need to contest, all of that can just tamper with your regular routine. But you have to be able to adapt, and you have to be able to lean strongly on the rock that never fails. The rock that never fails. So permit me to sing that song. The rock that never fails. Let me hide in you. Let me hide in you. In you there is power. The rock that never fails. Let me hide in you. Let me hide in you. In you there is power. You can put everything that you need. In you there is grace. In you there is victory. In you there is fire. In you there is hope. In you there is beauty. In you there is wellness. In you there is healing. Whatever it is that you want, it is in that rock. It never moves. It's unshakable. So you make sure that that rock goes with you everywhere. Like the children of Israel, was cloud by day, it was pillar of fire by night. It didn't change. He is the same yesterday, today, and forevermore. Hebrews chapter 13 and verse 8. Jesus Christ, the same yesterday, today, and forevermore. And I don't know who I'm speaking to. I don't know who this is blessing right now. You may have gone through something that suddenly changed your life. Maybe the loss of a loved one. Maybe a turbulent season within your marriage. Maybe the consequence of a mistake that you have made has suddenly turned things upside down. Listen to me. If you lean on the rock that never fails, you will remain standing and solid like Abishag. I don't know what kept this woman, but right after the whole drama of winning, struggling through the contest to win, getting married to the king in a seeming unceremonious way, attempting to keep the king warm, and then nothing happened. He still died. Imagine the sudden shame and hopelessness. Whatever it was that happened kept this woman strong and solid. Well, you may say, maybe she inherited an estate or this and that. Will that be strong enough to keep you, if you were in her shoes, to keep you as a virgin till the day of your death? and then we actually even hear nothing about you, would that be strong enough? So I want you to put yourself in our shoes, really, and let's begin to set our priorities right, because this is what this series is about. What are you able to do in order to get the life that God wants you to have? How desperate are you to make things right and live your life to the fullest, maximizing your days and your purpose here on earth? So I want you to join me on this journey again tomorrow. Most likely we'll be back in the afternoon, but it seems like the night time is also fun a bit. Let me know what you think. I need your feedbacks. Maybe my light is like not sitting well on my makeup. Maybe I need to amend my makeup. Whatever it is, just let me know. My background, but you guys are going to be seeing this hair tie a lot, maybe in different colors. Just let's have it that way for now. Thank you so much for joining. I'll see you tomorrow. Most likely we'll be discussing Abigail. What was she desperate about? Our own story is also quite dramatic, and she played the role of, you know, this very smart opportunist. But maybe you can't blame her. Okay, remember what we said about Eve as well. Many people say a lot of stuff about Eve, just blaming her for everything. But hello, you need to hear a side of the story, you know, before you start to blame. So see you tomorrow. Please invite somebody, just send the flyer to them, and let's have a wonderful time together. Until I come your way again, my name is Tosin, and have a wonderful time. Bye-bye.